Hey friends, welcome to Mold Mending. You've got Renee Rivera here to chat with you about shopping for your fruit. Yes, it's empty. Last night I purchased quite a bit of fruit. And when I do need to do my refill of fruit and I'm at the store, it takes me a little extra time to shop for it. Why? Because I need to make sure there's no mold in my food. So it's a little bit easier when you've got a single apple. You can look around and make sure there's no mold on it, but it makes it a little bit harder when you have fruit. I have mine frozen. Sorry, I should have not frozen it before doing this video, but you've got this package with your red or your black or your blueberries. You got your berries in there and you're like, got to make sure when I take this home, I don't get a surprise when I open it and find a moldy piece of fruit. Because if you find a moldy piece of fruit, honestly, what shouldn't be done is just tossing the one piece of fruit and keeping the rest. Unfortunately, those of us with CIRS, the chronic inflammatory response syndrome, also known as water damage building illness or mold illness, we have to avoid at all costs all mold, including that in these lovely fruit containers. So if you get home and you know somebody has bought one for you, or you bought one and you forgot to inspect it, you come home, you open it up and you find a moldy raspberry or blueberry or fruit, it is suggested that you do not consume anything in that container. Give that to somebody else who does not have a mold illness. They can consume it without getting a reaction, but you could, in fact, get a mold hit from having that. So that's why I'm giving you this little tip. I did not know this until I had done the research. So the way to avoid bringing home moldy vegetables and fruit is you inspect it when you're at the store. So when I'm at the store, I'm getting in some good light and I'm looking at every side. Now, before COVID, I was able to lift up the package, the lid, like the raspberries that snap, come out. I was able to lift it open away from myself and just look at the top and close it. I don't do that anymore. That, how frowned upon we would get. So I have to do my best inspecting everything from every side. So I literally am looking at each side, seeing if I see any kind of discoloration, usually a grayish or a black mark. Those are usually the colors of the mold. I look at the back, the bottom, and I look at the side, and then I shake it up and I'll look again. Yes, this is tedious, and yes, it takes time, but it saves me from losing $4 a package or whatever the price is at that time. I literally have had to throw away things because I'll get home and I'll find the mold in the middle or something like that because I rushed through my inspection of my packages. So to save you, do the inspection at the store before you take it home. And if you don't, just know you got a 50-50 chance of having mold in your package. So that's the first thing I do to avoid that mold. That's the most important thing to do, is actually inspect it before you get home. But then when you get home with your fruit and vegetables, I have mentioned this in another video, is you pour it into a bowl.
And then you're going to inspect the berries in each package, making sure that there is no mold. Remember, like I said, anything that's black, anything that has fuzz on it, anything that's gray. I'm talking about, at least with the raspberries, the blackberries, and the blueberries. Those are some colors to look for. And then if they're all clear, then you can clean them.
You fill that bowl with water, and then you add 1 to 2 tablespoons of your apple cider vinegar. That will clean your vegetable, but what it also does is it preserves it and gives it a longer shelf life, believe it or not. So just a little tip I wanted to give you: avoid the mold on your vegetables and your food. And the tip would be, if you're given something that has mold on it, you don't just pick it out and eat the rest of it, or cut it out and eat the rest of it. There are spores that do spread, and it does get on the rest of the items. And for those of you with CIRS, with the chronic inflammatory response syndrome, also known as mold illness, it is something you need to avoid at all costs. Because if you do consume it, there is a cost to that. And that is your health, that is not feeling well, and you are trying to rid the toxins of your body versus bringing them in. So hope this helped. Take care.